So here we're asked to state the number of possible triangles that can be formed given the following measurements. So remember that the number of possible triangles, that only really matters when we're dealing with side-side angle. The rest of the different possibilities when we give you the three pieces of information only create one triangle. So we really only need to use this, what we're going to call the height test, when we are given two sides and an angle that's not between those two sides. So when I draw this first one, triangle STR, I always like to have my angle in the bottom left. It's not going to be to scale, so just deal with that for a second. And then this is angle S, meaning side S is going to be opposite of that. So when I draw this opposite side, 29 here, and now I'm going to draw the adjacent side. So technically the adjacent side could be on the bottom or the top in this drawing. I always like to put my adjacent side on the top just because that's how I've learned kind of the height test and how I look for the height being kind of vertical. So in this situation here, I draw this idea. I'm not connecting this just because in this situation, I don't know if there is a triangle that's created. So I'm just going to kind of leave it open until I know. I got to know all four of these different cases to kind of be able to see how many triangles there are. But because the opposite side here, which in the diagram below they call A, because the opposite side is less than the adjacent side, I already know it's not case 4. So what that means is I now have to find the height. So to find the height, I am going to draw it here so that you can see it's a right triangle. And I'm basically going to use sine to help me because I can say sine of 112 equals the height, which is the opposite side, over the hypotenuse of this triangle that I drew, which is 37. So if I multiply 37 times sine of 112, that'll give me my height, which my height in this one is 34.306. So now when I look through my height test, I see that in this one, there is no possible triangle because the opposite side is less than the height, because 29 is less than 34.306. So I'm basically finding the height and then just comparing the two sides that I'm given to the height, and that will tell me how many triangles are created. So in this one, there are none. For the second one, I'm going to draw it kind of the same way. Again, this isn't to scale or anything. Oops. But I put my angle that I'm given here. This is angle P. The opposite side here is 37. The adjacent side, H, is 40, which means that this is H down here. And so now again, in this one, I see that my opposite side is less than my adjacent side, meaning it is not going to be case 4. So now I'm going to go ahead and find the height, which in this one here is sine of 34 equals the height. I'm going to write it out here because I have an H in this question. I don't want to get you confused. Height over 40. So my height is going to be 40 times sine of 34. So when I plug that into a calculator, I end up getting 22.37. So in this situation, the opposite side of the angle that I'm given is greater than the height, but less than the adjacent side, which is case 3 here, meaning there are two triangles. And if I were asked to actually solve them, I'd have to actually go through and solve both of the given triangles.